This lesson is on the five senses, in particular, touch. Lesson purposes. The purpose of this lesson is to teach children what is touch. How do we use our sense of touch? How do we feel things? And then when we do touch things, how do they feel? Do they feel hard or soft or smooth or rough or other? Can we feel things by not touching them, such as the wind blowing on them? Can we feel someone else touching us, such as a hug or a handshake? Expected lesson outcomes. By the end of this lesson, children should have the understanding of the fifth sense, touch. They should be able to understand what touch is and how they feel things when they touch things. They should also understand textures. What are textures? What different textures do you feel when you touch things, such as soft, hard, rough, or smooth? Can we feel things by not touching them? Can we feel things that touch us, such as the wind blowing on our face, or a hug, or a handshake? Can multiple textures be represented by touching one thing? Do we feel two different textures when we touch something? Materials needed for this exercise are not limited to these, but can be hands, of course, because children will need their hands to touch. A small handheld fan to represent air or wind blowing on them so they can feel things by not using their hands. Different types of textured items, such as soft items like a blanket, a piece of fabric, or cotton balls. Hard items like a rock or a piece of wood. Smooth items like glass or plate. Rough items such as sandpaper or glitter, foam, or glitter paper. So what is touch? Touch is the way we feel things when we touch something. When we touch things, we feel, and that's how we use our sense of touch. So when you touch your tablet or your phone, you feel the screen is smooth because it's glass. Or when you touch a rock or a piece of wood at the playground, you feel how hard it is. Or if you touch a piece of sandpaper or pick up a handful of sand at the beach, you feel how rough that is. That is what touch is. Touch is the way we feel things when we touch things with our hand. But we can feel things by touch by not us touching things. We can feel things like when someone gives us a hug or a handshake, or when the wind blows on our face when we're outside. That is also touch. Textures. So what are textures? Textures are things that we feel when we touch. When we touch something, you want to think to yourself, is this hard? Is it soft? Is it smooth? Is it rough? What do you feel when you touch things? That's what texture is. So for this exercise, what we're going to do is I'm going to pass out to each child or you can do each child, depending on how many children are in the group, or to each table, or pass one item and have them pass it around the circle, depending on how many children are in this group. And I'm going to pass out a hard item, such as a rock, a soft item, such as a blanket, a smooth item, such as a plate or glass, and then a rough item, like a piece of sandpaper. And then I want each child to feel these items and tell me what they feel. And when they feel it, do they feel one texture or two textures? Another exercise that can be added onto this is you can walk around with a small fan and kind of blow it and see if the children feel it. Do they feel the fan blowing on them? If they do, that's another form of touch. You can also have the children get up, walk around, and shake each other's hands. Do they feel the other person touching their hand when they shake their hands? If you want, you can also incorporate how does that feel how does the other person's hand feel when they touch yours? Is it soft? Is it smooth? Is it rough? So these are just a few things you can do in this exercise when teaching the lesson on touch. This exercise can be done alone, or it can be done in a series as you're doing all 5 senses. This is a really good exercise to have for children in learning the 5 senses. It's very developmentally aware of what they need to know as they grow in life. And that's it.